Welcome to Jason Unleashed. Happy Thursday, everyone. How's it going? I'm your host, Jason Carter. Thank you so much for watching. Excited for today's show because we have Logan Browning coming in. She's actually here right now. Let's bring her in. We love her as the beautifully complex Samantha White on Dear White People. And now we're going to get the chance to chat and catch up. Let's get her in the show. It's going to be a good time. She is incredible. Logan Browning.
Hey! Are we matching?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
A little bit.
Oh, okay.
I had a polka dot moment just for you.
Thank you. I love a polka dot.
How's it going, boo?
It's going well, actually. It's funny. I just posted this photo on Instagram, right? It was like me at Target, like, you know, in the yeah, I'm like in the little monitoring thing. And of course I have my gloves on, my mask on, and I'm taking the photo with my phone. And like, of course, all of these people are like, sis, you need to take your gloves off. Like, you're holding your phone. Now you have to disinfect your phone. And I'm like, every day it's something else. I'm like, you guys, I'm doing the best I can. Yes, I'm disinfecting my phone, but like also we're doing the best that we can. Like, I want everyone to stay so safe.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm trying my best, guys. Anyway, it's a good idea. People are like, I leave my purse in the car. I leave my phone in the car. My mom would kill me if I ever left my purse in the car. But I use my phone for Apple Pay and then I disinfect it. So it makes sense.
Logan, it's like, let a girl live, right?
I'm trying to do my best, you know?
Try to do your best. Well, okay, you look exquisite as always. Your skin.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about everything, but let's just talk about the obvious. Your skincare and your skin.
Oh.
I have yet to see a Logan Browning picture where you do not look flawless. And that's in your natural pictures.
Oh, well, thank you. I can show them to you.
What are you doing? You look incredible.
Thank you. I will say nothing's perfect. I'm not perfect. My skin isn't perfect, but it's been better recently. And you know what's funny? I definitely take care of my diet. Like, I'm very good about what I eat. I've learned that for my body in particular, dairy, too much sugar, it just inflames my body. But also my mom, she's always like, less is more, simple is better. And I used to break out a lot, and my mom would go, you know what, Logan, you just need to go back to the basics. And I grew up with a bar of Dove soap and like oil of Olay or Cetaphil, and she's like, you just need to go back to the basics. And that's what I do now. I just go back to the basics.
Sometimes you just gotta say, like, you know what, I'm just gonna have some water and some soap and call it a day. But also, I mean, you look incredible. You're beaming, you're shining. We have been fans of you, and the fans below are commenting like crazy. All the way to the Bratz movie, Sasha on the Bratz movie, right?
A long time ago, yeah.
A long time ago. But what's interesting about you, Logan, and just watching over the years is, one, you're so striking on camera. It's uncanny. And then throughout the years, you land on Hit the Floor, which is where I met you, and I'll never forget the conversation we had at the Hit the Floor finale. Mm-hmm. And I was wearing a purple shirt and red shoes, and you were like, "Come here," and I was like, "It's like, who told you to pair those colors?" You looked me dead in the eye. I was like, "Who recommended that color pairing to you?" And I said, "No one." And you're like, "It's cool. I'm here for it." I was like, "Oh my gosh, all right, cool," because I thought you were reading me.
No, I love things like that, like pinks and reds and purples and reds, because they're so close.
Yeah.
I think those are so, like, I don't know if you've ever seen a color block dress. A lot of women do it on, like, the Emmys and stuff, where they have, like, it'll be pink and then the bottom is red. Mm-hmm. It's just not a regular, like, pairing. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, again, we've loved you in so many great moments in television. Hit the Floor, Meet the Browns. I mean, your career is stellar. But how are you doing throughout all of this? And I keep saying the new normal. People are like, why do you keep saying that? But that's exactly what it is. It's a new normal. How is Logan Browning surviving? What am I doing? Honestly, I'm going day to day, and I'm being gentle and kind to myself. Just like this Instagram thing where I post something and I'm just trying to share my experience, document my experience. Because I do think that this is such an interesting time because it's historical, it's unprecedented. I just want to be in the moment. I want to be kind to myself because we didn't know we were going to be here 45 days ago. Like, none of us knew that we were going to be in this situation. And so I am taking it for what it is. I'm grateful for my safety and my health. I sometimes feel guilty about the people in the world who are really suffering in this moment, whether they're sick or their family and friends are sick. But I just try to remember what my blessings are and try to use my blessings to aid other people. And that's the best thing that I can do in trying to be safe, which is why I think I do take personally when people would say online, you know, what I'm doing right and wrong. But honestly, I'm cooking a lot, I'm reading a lot, I'm painting, I'm listening to audiobooks, I'm watching old movies, I'm really connecting with people, you know? I mean, these Zoom birthdays, I went to a Zoom wedding. That's insane.
It is insane because never before it's like we were forced, the universe, and we're going to get into meditation and how your Instagram and just who you are online is a safe space, but the universe said, you guys, listen, you're not doing the job, so I'm going to force it on you. So now we're forced to get into all these things that have always been there, but because we've been in this go, 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 go mentality, especially here in LA and in the business, and for those watching the business, Hollywood, etc. Now we're like so aware of everything we've kind of been missing out on that has really been there to serve us, you know? So like Zoom, I know, weird example, but Zoom is incredible. What we're doing now, I never in a million years thought I'd be on Instagram Live talking to people. Now it's like every day, right? But you said you're cooking, you're being kind to yourself, but one thing that I've loved about you that I've actually been enjoying from your social media is your meditation and how you have become, like, I don't know, this otherworldly, very aware, very mentally conscious, and such, yet just so connected. When and where does that come from? What made you want to shift into that?
In a general sense, my personal practice came from when I was training for Hit the Floor, and I didn't have my splits. I wasn't flexible enough, and my castmates and I, we would go to hot yoga, and we would, you know, stretch and everything. And at the very end of yoga, you lay on your back in what's called in Sanskrit Shavasana, which means corpse pose. And I would hear some of the teachers say, you know, this is really the beginning. Like, this asana yoga that we've done, these physical postures that people in LA do to work out, is really breath linked to body to prepare you to go deeper and inward into your meditation. And I just became very curious, like, what are they talking about? So luckily we live in a cool place like LA, which has, you know, meditation studios you can visit. And that's what I started to do. And after a couple of years of doing this for my birthday, which my 30th birthday was last year in June, I thought, you know, God, what am I going to do for my 30th? What am I going to do? And I ended up challenging myself to 30 hours of yoga and meditation on a whim. It was lovely. And then on the third day, he rose again. No, on the third day, I invited all my family and friends, and I sponsored a meditation. And what I loved was that I had friends who had been meditating, friends who had never meditated, and it was just this access. Like, I brought this access, I brought these people together, and at the end of last year, I went, you know what, I want to take a teacher training course. So that's what I did. I did it to deepen my practice, and I did it to be able to bridge the gap of access, because I feel like culturally, there are people who don't know about meditation, whether that's because of religion or whether that's because of where they live. I feel like financially, I feel like even lifestyle, the fact that we live in LA and like a lot of us we're very freelance. We just have this lifestyle where we can go to a meditation studio. I just wanted to get what I could with these practices and take it everywhere, take it to schools and just bridge the gap. So obviously when the quarantine and the pandemic happened, a friend of mine said, you should do this on your Instagram. And I didn't think twice about it. I did it. And now I'm like just doing it. I don't know.
Again, the silver lining of the quarantine, right? There's so many that are coming out of that. And you have been, to me, from watching you, especially from your movie last year, The Perfection on Netflix, which Lizzie, Logan, the suspense actress. I mean,
I
you still
still
got
have my
both
hands,
hands, right? You still got both. But you know, you were on The Real last year, and you had talked about your journey about your natural hair, and how, you know, on Hit the Floor we got Yelena, who was boom, just vixen glam, and now you're still vixen glam, but you're repping natural beauty. You're keeping the curls, and I'm sure you get so much love from women of color who look to that and are happy that you're being your authentic self. What has that been like? What has that response been?
You know, it's so funny. As I have continued in my career, and I've been doing this professionally for 15 years, like half my life. That's insane. But as I've done it, you know, every single role has taught me something about myself. And as I discover my characters, I'm also uncovering parts of Logan. And I am appreciative that my own self-discovery and self-love and building of my self-worth has that effect on other people. Because I wasn't doing it for anyone but myself, honestly. I personally, I didn't want my hair breaking off. Like, I'm doing a character. I go to set for however many hours a day, and then I have to live with my hair. Right. So I did it for myself. And then when I saw that it was affecting other people, it gave me that encouragement to keep doing it. Because, you know, on Hit the Floor, when I first started, I asked, hey, can I just kind of have, I was starting to go natural before I started Hit the Floor. And I asked, like, hey, can I wear my hair naturally curly? And they were like, well, you know, like, we kind of had this other image for Yelena, like this other sexy image. And, you know, that was the thing that people constantly said to me in the industry was straight hair is sexy. This long straight hair is sexy. And I thought, like, eventually, why is that? That's what we've been conditioned to think. And so that's part of my personal activism is natural beauty, natural hair. Because the only way that we're going to change that cultural mindset of what beauty is just to do it, to be bold enough to do it, and for people to see, oh wow, it can be sexy.
Right. And we've seen that, and for sure we've seen that. I mean, just going through your Instagram, I keep bringing up your Instagram because again, that's a hub for where people can experience you besides your work and what you've done. That is an accessible way to have a piece of Logan, I guess. And you know, you join the ranks of a lot of women. I have a friend named Courtney Tesno who was on E's show on Quibi called Close Up. And she's also had this amazing natural hair journey, as well as Erica Cobb on Daily Black Side. And I'm so glad that the bold move you guys are taking, that you took that move and have been so unapologetic about it. Because, I mean, it's like anything. We're afraid of judgment, right? So sometimes, you know, it's like when you want to, like, confront that friend who's really whack. But you're like, do I want to do that? Because then I'm going to hurt their feelings. And then you start the conversation and you pull back because you're afraid. But you know it's something you need to do. It's very visceral. So I'm glad that you were able to say, hey, bump that. I'm doing me. And it's been amazing because we see such a natural character in Sam White on Dear White People, which, by the way, Logan, Dear White People has been such a refreshing piece of television magic for the culture that I don't think I have. I mean, and I'm 10 years older than you, so I've been around a long time to see some great shows, some great Black television, right? And Dear White People just gets it right. From the way, the nuances of every single character, Gabe, Coco, Kelsey, everyone, to the way you're lit, to that. Justin Simeon is a genius in knowing how to light melanin. And I know when we talked with the Young Turks a couple years ago about season 1, that was one of the things I wanted to touch on was just how well this show is. 4 seasons around the bend, yes?
4th is the one we are about to film. It's our 4th and final. That's the one we're going to film next.
Okay. Awesome. And then you have 1, 2, and 3, which you see the progression of all the characters. Lionel. It's just shooting that show for you. Celebration of Black excellence, yes?
It's
Would you say in your career that's been one of the most, I don't want to say defining because there's no one definitive moment in a career. I think they're all defining moments. But would that be the one that's the closest to your heart?
In terms of defining, like I kind of said before, every single role has really helped me discover a part of me. And the thing that Dear White People has helped me with is my personal identity, which is a big deal, especially for it to be around this age for me, you know, as a young woman going from 20s to switching into 30s. You know, dealing with the way I look as a light-skinned Black woman. That's not something I don't think I ever really addressed with myself in my community. Like, it's something that I understood, but never really addressed in terms of my privilege. You know, I obviously, like, am always very vocal when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movements and police brutality, especially against Black and brown bodies. But I don't think that I had ever really taken a true look at my personal privilege and how my privileges have affected my sisters who are darker complexion than me. And truly that it hurt. Like it's funny, like the jargon that Sam uses to talk to white people all the time with, and how biting it is, and how you could see how hurt they were by what she said. I started to feel it and learn, like, wow, it's a part of you, you know? And even like as the character being half white, half Black, that's something that I haven't talked a lot about publicly, but, you know, biologically I am biracial. I was adopted and I'm raised by Black parents. So growing up, I saw Black people in my life, my family. That's what I was raised with. So that was my understanding of my identity. So in my formative years around 13, 14, finding out that I was biracial, it does something to your brain, because you learn that you are biologically something different than how you identify.
Right.
And now, granted, being biracial for me, at least, I'm Black. Like, I'm biracial and I'm Black. Like, that is how I identify. But it's Dear White People is what put me there. And I will say, Dear White People helped me to understand that I get to choose how I identify, and that I don't owe anyone else an explanation about my identity. It's funny because I've talked to people in the LGBTQIA community who are like, you know, it's like your coming out story. People feel like they're entitled to it or something. Like, I have to tell my story. And it's like, no, you get to tell it if you want to tell it, when you want to tell it. And I feel that way about all of my stuff, you know, like,
right.
Dear White People help me understand that.
I think it's very powerful to say that, because sometimes, and I mean, there's so much policing of Blackness a little bit these days, of how you're not Black enough. Your experience isn't the same as somebody else's experience that is a person of color. You don't measure. I mean, I have my whole life as well. I've been told that I'm whitewashed, or I'm not Black enough because I don't have swag, or a myriad of things of bullshit you hear, right? And so for you being biracial, it is your story to tell. And what I loved about Dear White People is that it touched on so many different elements in conversations in the Black community. It's like homophobia, LGBTQ+, being the darker complected woman, trying to code switch, fit in here, fit in there. But it did it so cleverly, and it did it effortlessly, and it did it in a way that wasn't pandering, and in a way that was offensive, you know? Someone had likened Dear White People to the Black Saved by the Bell that was woke. And I'm here for that. I agree with that. Even before you guys came back and remade the movie, it was always something that was like, yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like this coming of age movie for Black people that we haven't had in a while, that we needed. So it's truly a gem. You want to direct. I was reading today that you want to be able to tell stories, and you want to be able to have autonomy over those stories and be in control. And I found that fascinating. Let's get into that, because you'll be 31 in June. Young. You've done a lot. What stories does Logan Browning want to tell?
Well, I mean, you know what I realized? When I was young, I loved American Girl. And I had an Addie doll, and I had all of the things that you could have. I was very spoiled. And I was very, very grateful for my parents. And one of the American Girl products that I had was this little digital version of a Super 8 camera. It was this cute little digital camera, and it came with a CD-ROM set, and you can make movies. And I came across a picture of me with it the other day, and I was like, oh, I was doing that when I was like 8 years old, 10 years old. I was making movies, and I really liked it, and somehow that it transitioned into me making movies in this capacity in terms of being an actress. But I realized I love.
Oh, I think she's. No worries.
Am I okay?
You're kind of pixelated, but I can hear you. You're moving in slow motion, Logan.
I wonder.
Wait, maybe we should take a beat and let it catch up. Are people still calling you?
Gotta love technology.
I know. Instagram sabotage.
But I was just, in short, I was saying, being on sets, I get to see directors, and I get to see how they captain this ship, and I see that. I just love that, the leadership of it. I love that the art they're telling is trickling down from them. The stories I want to tell are, honestly, I want to tell my own. I want to tell the stories of the people who I grew up knowing. And I want to tell the stories of people who don't get their stories told. I mean, I grew up with two of my uncles have disability, and I feel like I don't get to see people with disability enough on screen in like leading roles, and I don't understand why not. I just want to be a part of changing the landscape of what we view as accessible television and film. I just want to change it.
Yeah, I mean, you're at a point in your career and in a space where I'm sure those opportunities will come to you because you do such great work. And I think that, as you said, there aren't a lot of stories that are now they're coming. Now inclusivity, inclusion, and telling stories of people's experiences, be it trans, people with disabilities, etc., are coming to the forefront. I wish it was happening faster. But the conversations are there and they are happening. I guess that is a good thing. But yeah. Having that passion, having that wanting to do that is where it all starts. I think you're the perfect woman to do that.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, 30 years old, Logan. I mean,
okay, we can stop saying it now. Okay, let's leave some mystery. Okay, let's let people guess a little bit.
But okay, fine, deal. So okay. Love, and you have a boyfriend, yes? Can we talk about love?
You know, it's funny. I never share my like romantic life. Like, I'll say this about me. You have never, at least at this point, been able to find a photo of me or anything about me with in a relationship. I've literally been in this town, in this industry professionally for 15 years, and I've been able to keep it private. And you know why I do? Is because it's mine. It's like the one thing I get to like have for myself. I try to keep my family and my love life for me because I do give a lot of myself to people, and I'm happy to share. Like, God has put me on this earth to be a vessel for so many things, and He's given me blessings not to be hoarded but to be shared. And I do that. And so when it comes to like, you know, my family and love life, I do my best to protect it. Just because it means a lot to me.
Yeah. I mean, boundaries are important. Hey, you know what? Yeah. You can't be faulted for that. Listen, Beyonce is the queen of boundaries, and rightfully so. You said something earlier that is very powerful. You don't owe people explanations. I think when you are a very public person and you have millions of followers and people are in admiration of you, they want every piece of you. The fans and the public are insatiable. And so it is very smart to be able to draw a line in the sand. And some people can't do that. I know I'm not nowhere near as famous as you are. And even for myself, having to do that is hard. And for you to be able to say, hey, no, this is what I'm doing. Either you like it or you don't, but I'm still doing it, speaks volumes to you as a woman. I enjoyed you on Drag Race. Let's talk about that, because last night, randomly, Logan, your episode from season 10, I think it was, came on. And I was just like, oh my gosh, universe, I'm talking to her tomorrow. Fan of Drag Race, yeah?
I love Drag Race, and we were talking about, it's so random that you watched it, because I randomly watched it yesterday as well. I love Drag Race. I really got into it because my little brother Keith loves Drag Race, and I've loved drag forever. Like, living in LA, we used to go to Hamburger Mary's all the time on Sundays for drag bingo, and but RuPaul has just, what I love about that show is it's given so many people opportunities. Like, just to watch where everyone goes afterwards, I think that's such an incredible act of service. And I mean, you can't go on Drag Race if you're not talented and multi-talented, you know? But it's just a good time. I couldn't believe that I was actually there. I was with Tisha Campbell Martin. It was just so cool.
It was a moment. And the outfit, I mean, look, the outfit was incredible. The hair was incredible. Who styled? I mean, I know it was 2 years ago, but who styled you for that? Because I work on the show as well, and I don't get to see anything. People are like, "Oh my God, do you know who wins Drag Race?" I go in my underwear, haul something in, say bye, and leave. And then,
right.
So when I watch this show, I'm watching it as a fan as well, because I can't even remember what has happened, because we film it because it airs a year later. So that day, tell us about that day on set for you.
It was so exciting. I had my whole team with me, and I was in this big yellow Big Bird furry coat and rhinestone bodysuit. And listen, I don't wear bodysuits. I mean, every time my stylist tries to put me in a bodysuit, I'm like, I'm not Beyonce. I don't wear bodysuits. I just don't. I won't do it. I just think that if you're going to be on a carpet, you need bottoms. And, but that's just me. So I was like, well, if I'm ever going to wear just a bodysuit, this is the time. And it was so much fun. When I got there, everyone, Michelle, Ross, everyone was so nice. And down to earth. I got to see how talented they are in their humor, because, when the ladies are coming out, and I thought all of the jokes were voiceovers that they did later in the show or something. They're doing them on the spot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these are happening now. Okay.
Incredible.
Yeah, let's get in it. Let me throw some one-liners out here. But it was really fun. And then of course, oh my God, Lip Sync for Your Life, the lip sync battle. That was insane, because everyone comes in. It's like they come and take the ladies' mic packs off, and then everyone starts coming in from the offices, and I'm like, what's about to happen? What am I about to watch? And it feels like it just feels like high stakes, and it's gonna happen once. There are no retakes. That was very cool to watch.
Logan, I have been on that show for 15 seasons, and I have only seen one lip sync ever. And it was season 4. It was Milan. I don't remember, but I feel you. It's almost as if you're watching someone being found guilty in court. You're on pins and needles waiting for the verdict. It's incredible. And you're right. Drag Race has become this global phenomenon and this bright spot in LGBTQ+, but not only for LGBTQ+ people, just for people in general. It's like this safe space to go and just let go and have fun on a Friday night,
Yeah.
And the art of drag, much like being an actress, these people have to, or these men, these women, have to assume a different personality and commit to it, 100%. And that's not easy. That's not easy.
And you see how much they want it. I remember the episode that I judged, it was Monet Exchange up for lip sync battle, and you could see how much she wanted that opportunity. I just felt it, and I don't know. I'm sure you've seen Paris is Burning. The history of drag and what it's done for people. Even wanting to represent your house well. It's such a fascinating, wonderful, exciting culture that I'm like, we're so lucky that we get to, you know, even get a little peek inside.
Right. You mentioned Paris is Burning. Logan, when was the first time you watched Paris is Burning? I just saw, and I'm probably gonna be like stoned and shamed for this, but I had barely saw Paris is Burning 3 years ago. But before Pose, because Pose really brought the ball culture to like mainstream. Thank you, Ryan Murphy. But when was the first time you watched Paris is Burning?
Maybe 5 years ago. It couldn't have been that long for me either, honestly. It definitely wasn't that long, but I remember watching it and then watching it again just because it just looks beautiful. And like you just learn so much watching it. If anyone has not seen it, like they have to go watch it.
Have to. I say some of the best documentaries are When Paris is Burning and an honorable mention for Truth or Dare from Madonna. I don't care what anyone said. Truth or Dare is exquisite.
I don't think I've seen it.
Okay, homework, Logan. Truth or Dare. Get into it. Who is Logan Browning listening to as far as music goes? Like, who can you not live without?
So it's so funny. I don't have favorites, but some people I like to listen to. I really like FKA Twigs. She has such a cool sound to me. One of my all-time favorite artists is someone like, I don't think a lot of people know. His name is Ben Howard. He's a UK artist. I literally chased him to Scotland because he was performing on my birthday when I turned 25. I went to this festival in Scotland and saw him live. But the song that I'm playing now, or at least I listened to yesterday, was Wale's Sue Me. Because my friend Kirby directed the video for it. And if anyone hasn't seen it, it's got an incredible visual. Basically, it follows the life of he's white, and it's as if the world was a black world. What it would be like if everything was reversed. And which is funny because we did that in season 3 of Dear White People. But that's what I've been listening to recently. I don't know what else what do I listen to? I'm listening to everything. I'm listening to Bill Withers because, you know, that was really sad that he passed on. And I don't know, whatever. I'm really all over the place when it comes to music. What are you listening to?
Girl, I have so anyone who knows me knows I'm like the biggest Mariah Carey fan. I'm just gonna put that aside. But I have been on this 90s R&B trip since we were told we couldn't leave our house. And maybe it's the comfort level of the music, Logan, but there hasn't been an era of music since the 90s in regards to R&B. And I know it's R&B, it's like there's so many different genres of music, but I'm a huge R&B head. Neo Soul. I mean, James Poyser of The Roots, you know, The Roots is Jimmy Fallon's house band, and The Roots, anyways, he has this, I think it's called Notes with James, where he goes down and talks about all the songs that he's written with people that he's worked with, right? So Mariah Carey, Erykah Badu, Bilal, D'Angelo, Al Green. And it got me into like, whoa, from 88, well, at least until I was like coherent enough to enjoy music, from 88 to like 2002, R&B and music was unstoppable. Boy bands. I call it like white boy rock. You know, it was just all feel good and it was great. So I have been just like Faith Evans, Brandy, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, just on heavy rotation. And I'm probably missing out on a lot of good music. Oh, and some good-ass country. Some great-ass country.
You know what? To your point, that's what was so great about the 90s was, like, everything kind of went. Like, everything was mainstream. Like, everyone listened to every music, and that's just the way it was. It wasn't like people, like, stuck to their genre. That's the kind of person they were. It was kind of like all of the music was blending together. It was all popular music, no matter what. We were all listening to rock. We were all listening to country. We were all listening to rap. We were all listening to R&B, like bands, everything.
Right.
It was fascinating.
Logan, do you remember reggaeton? I mean, I know reggaeton's big now, but remember when they used to have like reggaeton stations that would take a Christina Aguilera song and make it like the reggaeton version? Like, come on over, reggaeton version.
I'm not gonna lie. It took me a while. I listened to Disney Channel's radio station for a really long time, and then I grew up. But I think I spent a lot of my time listening to that when you were listening to your reggaeton.
Fine, Logan. You have been so many people in a good way, and so many people. I mean, like you have evolved as a woman. You have so many layers to you, and we've seen those layers, and you've taken off layers, and you've added layers. In 2020. Who is Logan Browning? What is the woman you want people to see you as?
I hope people see me as someone who is constantly evolving. I don't ever want to feel stagnant. I feel like Maya Angelou so eloquently said, a woman who reinvents herself daily is wise. And that's what I want to be. I don't want anyone to be able to pin me down. You know, when people talk about what a brand is, I mean, maybe people have an idea when they think of me, but I'd like to think of myself as not ever really being one thing. I would like for people to think of me as a conscious and caring person. I would like for people to think of me as someone who they can count on to want to, like in my meditations, you know, hold a safe space for them, and be someone who they can count on to always be doing her best to do good in the world. But I also would like for people to see me as a human. You know, I think it's hard, any of us, when we have public figures. Like, I obviously have people who I watch on television and see on Instagram, and sometimes it is hard to separate the persona of who they are from whoever they actually are. And I think that it's always been a part of my personal, like, rally cry to be very transparent and vulnerable. I don't ever want anyone to put me on a pedestal. Like, the higher you are, the harder you fall. I don't ever want to be that person. So I just hope that everyone would always see me as the way they see themselves, which is human.
Yeah. I love that. In the comments, people are saying humanitarian, altruistic,
oh, wow,
inspiring. They're so living for you today, Logan, and your positivity. And you're such a good energy, and you're such a light. I thank you for even taking the time to talk to me, girl. I slipped to the DM like, dear universe, will Logan accept? I'm putting it out there, and bam, you answered. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
You gave me a ring, and I said yes.
Logan, thank you so much. Okay, so let's wrap. Let's do a what do they call that? A wrap up or a, I don't know.
Wrap up is nice. Okay.
Okay. You have your meditations on your Instagram.
Yeah, Tuesdays, Thursdays, today, and Saturdays.
And just any time, or you just post and they can watch whenever?
So they're live. So on Tuesday, I do them at 4 a.m. Pacific time, which is very early for us. But that's so that people on the East Coast can do it before they start work. And then today, on Thursdays, I do it 6 p.m. our time. So we have it after work if people are going to a regular work day. And then the East Coast has it at 9. And then on Saturdays, I did that because a lot of my friends who do work during the week said they couldn't do it at all. So I do it on Saturdays at 7 a.m. Pacific time.
Girl, you are out there. You said 4 a.m. and I was like, and we're done.
All right, I am tired when I do it.
Meditations are live on your Instagram. Dear White People season 4, you guys are filming that now. That's gonna come out, what, 2021?
Well, we're not filming it now.
Right, but
ain't nobody filming nothing.
Anything. But meaning it's gonna start once. Yes. Okay, it's in the works. Awesome. And hopefully we're gonna get your directorial debut soon.
You will. We will. And it'll be the right moment. I've been working very hard to like find my right opportunity. And the one thing that I've learned from all of the young directors, older directors who I admire is you just have to go out and do the thing. So that's what I've been practicing, is like just going out and shooting things, just going out and making things, because there is no magical wand that someone's going to wave and be like, you're a director. Like, you kind of just have to go do the thing you want to do, just like you.
Yeah, 100%. And on social media, they can find you at
Logan Reese.
I love it. Logan Browning. Thank you for taking the time. You are incredible and invaluable, and you are just a phenomenal woman, as Dr. Maya Angelou would say.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Likewise.
You be safe, and we will see you soon.
All right. See you. Thank you so much.
Bye, babe.
Bye.